Okay, good evening, everyone. In the previous class, I've noticed that many of you couldn't follow my commands for Solana development. That is, so because setting up Solana environment in Mac and Windows was a little different, and then I changed the previous class to online because I tried to find a Mac. The Mac was broken. Then I have to fix the Mac. Then I update the Mac. It took like a few days for me to find and figure out how to have it on the Mac. I posted a little bit of late for that, but in that online session, I taught you how to have a development environment for Solana. And if you have Mac, you can just easily follow it. The last section of setup is similar to Windows. Just the first part might be a little different. The first part of the video is for Windows laptops. You can skip the first 30 minutes, then just look at Mac. Maybe for the last parts, maybe you can just check Windows part because they're exactly the same. And the next part of the video, I taught you how to buy Solana from Binance, how to transfer it to Phantom Wallet, and how create an NFT, a code-based NFT. So I gave you some Python code. Through that Python code, you can generate like millions of NFTs, and just pick the ones that looks better for you. I got one of them that looks better for me, and I posted over Soulsea, which is the NFT marketplace. So I posted for 2 souls. I mean, 23 people watched, but nobody bought it yet. But so, in your point of view, do you think it's worth 2 souls? It's about $80. It's like crazy. Who believes it doesn't worth even like 1 soul or maybe less? Do you believe how much does it worth? So why do you think it doesn't worth even 2 souls? So ease of creation, maybe abundance. So what about you? What do you think it's worth? Do you think it's worth 2 souls or maybe less or more? So actually, frankly speaking, yeah, it's very easy to make. I made it like less than 30 minutes. Even in less than 30 minutes, I made millions of this. So, but look, it was one of the first 3 NFTs that created into like university. So maybe it's something worth of that. But what about this one? Do you know how much does it? This is an NFT. It's worth $91.8 million. I don't think it's more difficult than my NFT. Almost the same difficulty. So this NFT is quite tough. It has thousands of pieces. But look at this one. This NFT, I'm trying to find its value. What is that? $56 million, this NFT. It's definitely easier than my NFT. This one a little artistic, but look at this one. $23 million. I'm trying to find maybe this one, 10 point. So this CryptoPunk is not more difficult than this one. Maybe a little even more, but it's $10.26 million. So as your final project, if you can make your thoughts and your research on why this cryptocurrency, why this NFT is worth that much of money, I give you full credit. Write about 5 pages of your thoughts and also your research and why it's worth that price. This one, takes time, but look, this one I think is is almost the most difficult picture, 6.6. This one is one of the easiest one, $23 million. And mine, even nobody paid 2 souls for it. This is like $80. So try to find, if you find the answer, you have to give you full credit. So you can just do your project on why some NFTs, it looks very easy to make and there's abundance. You can just, if you look at the codes that I gave you, and you modify my codes, you can make millions of it in like 10 minutes. So try to find the answer and I give you full credit. But anyway, I think it's a cool practice. At least if you make this NFT or something similar to this, you learn development in Solana. You learn how marketplaces works, how to buy crypto, how to send crypto to a wallet, and how to like own NFT or buy and sell them. So it's a good practice, and you can do that. Who knows? Maybe you make a crazy NFT and you make millions of dollars. But look, I said forever who's trade this NFT, 50% of it would go to my wallet. So for this NFTs, I'm not sure the percentage of royalty, but they might go higher, but the creator just every trade gets his or her portion of or royalty of these pictures. Okay, so is there anyone in the class never did anything in Python? Do you guys have basic understanding of Python? Have you had Python before? You had? You had to, right? Never? Even if you never had Python in your life, even you can make those NFTs. Believe me, because the only thing that you want to, the only thing that you need to do, so instead of having mustache, like mouth or eyes, maybe you make your own picture. So that part, the only input is that. The remaining is on depends on what you want to. I mean, the remaining is the code would do automatically for you. But so no worries. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult. Question from previous classes, your assignments, homework. So let me open model. So just keep in mind, I changed the date for first delivery, but sooner or later you should submit your final project. I mean, matter of days. And also, I posted new assignment for today, which you should submit 5 days. It comes from Mauzin's question about trading, so and investment. So anyway, let's have the first lecture today. So the first lecture I talked about governments, or more specifically the central bank's relationship with cryptocurrencies, money, and trading policies, and how how could you be a good trader in cryptocurrency. So look at these 4 pictures. Oh, what happened? Okay, there is an issue here. For some reason, it doesn't. Oh my God, what happened? Anyway, no worries. So, what's the differences between cash, gift cards, Clark University meal on your card? So, Clark University, you can buy certain number of meals and certain your Clark University card and Bitcoin. So cash is basically a physical token that stores value. So it connects you directly to the Central Bank of the United States. Gift card is based on the IRS point of view is a cash equivalent. They basically provide some information to connect to an account balance that stores some value on it. But these, curiosity meal and Bitcoin are a little different. Let's say I buy 10 meals for $10 right now, and they would say forever. Let's say in next year, because of inflation, each meal would worth of, the Clark University would sell meal for $20. But since I already bought 10 meals, I see some appreciation in my meal card, right? Let's say I bought 10 meals for $10, I paid $100, but this year, because of inflation, they worth $200 because they raised the meal price, but I already purchased them. And same for Bitcoin. But so if you bought Bitcoin maybe like 20 years ago, not 20, maybe 10 years ago, it was like $10 or $1. Right now it's thousands of dollars. It's about $30,000 right now. So you already paid for some number of coins, which are limited. Now, because people believe in Bitcoin, the value is much more than what you bought before. So, currency Milka could be a kind of currency. I'm not sure in some university you can do exchange. For example, in my previous university, when you want to graduate, let's say if you have too many means and you're pretty sure you cannot finish them, you can sell them or transfer to other students. So you can do some kind of trade with them too. I'm not sure about Clark, but this could be kind of very simplistic cryptocurrency. Let's say you get your master from Clark in 2022. You have 100 mils in your car, it's worth of $10, and you come back in 2040 for your PhD, and let's say they don't, they keep still your meal information. Maybe at that year, each meal would cost $100. So you see a lot of appreciation. But I think I'm not sure, but I think after your graduation, they probably don't accept your cards and you lose your means. Okay, so except for Clark University meal card and Bitcoin, gift cards and cash are kind of connection. They are basically financially connect people with their central banks. And let's just read what's the definition of role of central bank in the United States. The goal of central bank is maximum employment, stable prices, and moderate long-term interest rates. I'm not sure about if they can directly affect employment, but indirectly they affect. And they can also work with interest rate, but I think the major role is how to stabilize prices in the United States. So these are their main activities for the national goals. Interest rate. So right now, one of the reasons people believe that we have cryptocurrency crash is changing the interest rate. Can anybody explain that? Why interest rate could be related to cryptocurrency crash at this time? I think Mazim wanted to say something. Yes.
By increasing interest rate, it's more expensive to borrow money. So when supply is over the economy,
So Mazen is saying that having money is now more expensive, and people have less money, maybe because the only reason could be there's a lot of volatility in the Bitcoin market or cryptocurrency, and there's a good interest rate. So if you are a billionaire, maybe you would say, okay, just let's put my money in the bank. So there's less, as Mazen said, there's less money for cryptocurrency purchases. Exchange rate. So you might know there's the exchange rate war between US and China. So US always blame China for having low exchange rates. So producing product in China could be cheaper. I don't say it's true, but that is a war. So physical cash printing and having some reserve against banks' liabilities. So I think the US is 10%, each country is different. So let's say Bank of America's liability is $10 trillion. They should have at least $1 trillion reserve in the US Central Bank because it would be too risky. And you might heard of 2008 financial crash because some banks had too much liabilities and they didn't have enough to support that much of liabilities. So they had a very tough time. Some of them got bankrupt actually. So we just talked about cash, and as I said, cash connects you to the central bank directly. So look at the cash circulation in different countries. We have increase for the United States, so about 5% to near 10% right now, from 2000 to 2018. Canada, Denmark, Europe. Look at Japan, like 15%, now it's near 25%. But Sweden, so it was about near 5%, now it's near 2%. So do you think why you have more cash in circulation? It seems people like to have cash in their pocket. So usually millennials like you usually don't carry that much of cash, but in generally speaking, the public, we have more cash in the circulation. People tends to keep more cash in their pocket than bank account. Kosher? Oh, culture, yeah. Yeah. So I think you're from China. Unfortunately, we don't have China statistics here. But do you have, huh? No cash? So Alipay, yeah. So, but China, I mean, China is next to Japan. Why Japan is too much of like cash in circulation?
They always look. I don't know why. How we go? That's pretty hard on cash. Most of people like money. I don't know why.
There is some studies and some speculation that Japan has a very old population, and for them working with technology and credit cards is not that much comfortable. So maybe they are more to cash. Also, culture is an important thing, and there is some idea that cash is anonymous. So if you do trading in cash, maybe the government cannot track you that much well for tax. So it might be other reasons too. I'm not sure what's the most important reason, but as you see, just looking all around the world, people tend to have more cash. There is an increased rate of cash in circulation. So let's summarize the financial system. So if you look at the bank ledger system, so cash is a physical token that connects you to a reserve of dollar in the U.S. central bank. But bank accounts connects you to the commercial banks, and those commercial banks by itself, they have their own connection to the central bank. So your bank accounts connects you to the central bank indirectly versus cash connects you directly. So you in the US and most of the countries, central bank is the one who prints cash. But there's an interesting case in the United Kingdom. So that in the UK, in Britain generally, Bank of England is their central bank who issues selling pounds, is the legal tender in the country. But 3 banks in Northern Ireland and 3 banks or retail or commercial banks in the Scotland, they also print currencies. So these are currencies, but they are not legal tender. So what does it mean? So if you go to Scotland and you have a, let's say, pound of Royal Bank of Scotland, you can buy and sell. But let's say if you want to pay tax, your tax should be through the pound that's printed by the Bank of England. So there's some historical reason for that, but it sounds very interesting. What about China? Is there central bank printing money or is it commercial banks? So you have bank notes from 4 different banks. Oh, that's very interesting. Oh. I think in Hong Kong is the same. I think the Chinese government prints money and Bank of Hong Kong prints money too, I guess. That's even more interesting than England then. Yeah. So what about India and Saudi? So is there a central bank printing money or commercial banks? Central bank. So in the riyals, does it say Central Bank of Saudi or it's just like Bank of Jeddah or Bank of like central bank? Yeah. So, but it was even in the US all time. We had some banks like New Ipswich Bank, which is existing even today, is in Massachusetts. Have you heard about this bank? And also look at this dollar from, I think, New Orleans. There's a bank in New Orleans. So Citizen Banks of New Orleans and New Ipswich Bank of New Ipswich Bank of Massachusetts. They used to print dollar all times, but right now just central bank. So central banks, they are digital reserve to, they use it for communicating with the commercial banks. They also connect to the public field through the commercial banks. So, it's like bank account, the deposit that you put in the bank. And central bank also can connect to you through their physical token, which is cash. But there's a big debate if a governmental cryptocurrency is a good idea or not. And what challenge it could bring. Like, because if the government prints cryptocurrency, it's something like a bank account, but central bank would connect to people directly. Let's say if Bitcoin was created by US central bank, so they don't need a commercial bank as an intermediary. They can just connect to the people directly. So it brings a lot of debates and challenges, because if central bank to connect to the people directly, why would it need commercial banks? What's the point of that? So, or at least the role of commercial banks would be much less than what is right now, because the government can connect to the people directly. So, but what are the incentives of central banks for having governmental backed cryptocurrencies? So they can control money flow or cash flow directly. They don't need any intermediary commercial banks. There is some transaction efficiency. There's a big debate if Bitcoin or Ethereum consume a lot of energy, but some people believe it's less than the current energy that countries spend for their transactions. And also there's a new cryptocurrency technologies that needs less energy. So there's some debates, but at least, you know, the country of El Salvador and Central Africa, they accepted Bitcoin as a legal tender, because one of the reasons was they have so many people out of the country which send money into El Salvador. So if they do it through the traditional or current banking system, it would be much more expensive, because they should pay so many, like some percentage to some intermediary banks. But if they, through Bitcoin, they can send money to those countries much cheaper. So it's one of the reasons. So another is inclusion, so including new technologies and basically adopting new technologies that also could be a little bit of curiosity too. And recently, some countries like Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, they use cryptocurrency to evade US sanctions or international sanctions. So right after Russia attacked Ukraine, or they call it Ukraine, I guess, the Bitcoin price went up, because they couldn't, they're afraid of not being able to do international transactions. So many Russians bought Bitcoin to be able to international transactions. Iran and Venezuela are under heavy US sanctions, but through cryptocurrency, they can do their business free of US control, or at least less control. And also in the case of China, so some countries like China, they have some control on cash flow. So you can correct me. I've heard that in China, you cannot take too much money out of the country. In China, could you bring like $1 million to US? But with cryptocurrency, you can do that. Yeah, who can control you? Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure if they changed the rule, but you can also, they give, if you want to bring more money, there is a form that you should fill it out.
And they will take maybe 3 hours to ask a lot of questions about that. Where am I from? Give you full information about that. What you react to. Yeah,
yeah, it's difficult, but it's still doable. But what about Chinese government? They let
Chinese government also will control this, like if you bring some expensive things, they eat them, they will do it right down for us and give them.
But in cryptocurrency, who can control you? There's like 12 phrases that you write in a piece of paper. It's your kind of password, and you can go everywhere and spend it. So what about challenges? So resilience and reliability. So even right now, some cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're not that much fast, much slower than, let's say, MasterCard network. So some blockchain technology like Solana, they promise even faster than current banking system transaction speed, but there's some challenges, reliability. So, and as I said, cryptocurrency helps government to connect to the people directly. So it might bring some unpredicted changes, like to the banking system, credit allocation, the role of commercial banks, as I said. So, and every governmental institution, they hate changes. So, and this is a very major change. So another challenge is like transforming from the current system to a crypto-based system. And I've listened to so many people in the banking system. Some of them believe our current system is very efficient, but we don't even need cryptocurrency. So some of them, they usually try to avoid any changes. And I think the most difficult part is design consideration, infrastructure transformation, like new design, new infrastructure, level of anonymity, and should be a token-based system or account-based system. So these are some big challenges the banking system face. But what are the different policies of central banks against or about cryptocurrency? Some don't have any policy; they just go back and forth. They are not sure. So some countries they have total ban, like China. Some have restricted use. Most of the Western government they either monitor or experimenting them. So I think in the United States, it's mostly monitoring, but for the experimental part, some West European countries are also experimenting. And some countries like El Salvador or Central Africa, they accept it as a legal tender. So Ethan, do you think what US government would do for cryptocurrency? Do you think it would go to experimental and legal tender part, or it would go from monitoring phase to when we restrict our total ban?
Do I think they would?
Yeah.
I think they'd be a late adopter. Their dollars are like the gold standard around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they would either try to hold on to that one while Bitcoin started becoming something that makes sense.
Yeah, different ideas. I'm not sure, but I just want to know what do you think. I think I already talked about central banks, like Central Bank of El Salvador, but so I got it from South African Central Bank. So they, these are basically the different reaction of central banks to the cryptocurrency. The Central Bank of South Africa divided to three waves. So in the first wave, so some central banks, they just adopt the technology and they have some simple proof of concept, some application of Ethereum based or something similar to Ethereum, like Ubin of Singapore, Jasper, Bank of Brazil. So in the second wave, there is some sort of banks, they understand the interconnected issue confidentially, and that's working on the resilience of the network. So those projects like Coca, I think it's from South Africa. Ubin is for Singapore, Jasper I forgot, but still also it's a big one. And the third wave, they try to do some interconnection with the current legal tenders and cryptocurrency, and basically being able to have both of the transaction in their account, in their economy. And they believe Coca, which is a South African project, is in the wave 3, which is in the full adoption of cryptocurrency, and they can interconnect with their current financial system. This is like, for example, I think Ubin is from Singapore. So right now they finished phase 1 and phase 2. So, and in the upcoming years, they want basically use cryptocurrency for delivery payments and basically full adoption of cryptocurrency. I think maybe after South Africa, Singapore could be the next country who fully adopted cryptocurrency. So let's ask a question. Do you think it's a good idea to save money in the banks or not? So why not? I think you said not, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how the interest rates are over here in the US, but back in there also not like very difficult. So rather putting it on the savings account or rather.
Yeah, you pinpointed a very good issue, which is, inflation versus interest rate. And government is basically doing a major role in inflation, because they only, except for some, a few countries, most of the countries, the government has the control of printing money. And if they provide more money than what is actually needed in the economy, the price of currency just goes down and down. So look at the price of $1. So if in 1971, you had $100 or 100 cents, right now is about maybe 10 cents. So it lost, the value lost 10 times. And it seems there is a negative correlation between the value of dollar and dollar in circulation. So the red one is that dollar in the circulation, it just goes up and up and up, and the value of dollar is just going down and down. So the question is, you need to know inflation versus bank interest. So if they compensate it or not, almost in all the countries, it doesn't. So if you put your money in the bank, in the lifetime, you would lose a lot of its value, because the inflation is, let's say, if the inflation is 10%, I think last year is like 10 to 15% US, I guess. It was a lot. It was like 8? Okay. In some section, like I think the house market was much more than that, but it just maybe 8, about 8%. But I don't know any bank who pays 8% interest. I think some banks paid like 4%, maybe at most. Yeah. So if you put your money in the bank last year, you lost at least 4% of its value. So this is a very interesting figure about dollar worth during the history. So in maybe 1920s, with $1, you could buy 30 Hershey bars, which now is worth $26. in maybe 1929 or 1930, with $1 you could buy 10 rolls of toilet paper. In 1950, maybe 33, $1 was worth of maybe 10 bottles of beer. But right now, $1, I think when I bought McDonald's coffee, it was more than $1. It's $1 something. So even it's not, you cannot buy a McDonald's coffee, which is, I mean, tasters that like it, I don't say it's a bad thing, but just look at the, and I'm not sure if you heard your grandparents' history of what they could do with what dollars. Everybody have an interesting history. Just listen to know what they could do in like back days. But right now, it's, almost everywhere the currency is losing its value because the government has some policies. Let's say making better like economic growth, poverty, and even in Venezuela, there is some governmental plans for, I think, public insurance or healthcare, something like that. So, or in the some other countries they go to war. So it's again there are different policies, but the easy way to support their policies, the easiest way is just printing money. So if when they print money, they actually get an indirect tax from you. I'm trying to find a good example. So let's say in the COVID time, so many people lost their jobs, and the economy was the economy was threatened. So the U.S. government just printed so much money, and said, "Okay, you can stay home, but yes, you have some money to spend." So, but what happened? So they gave away so many money to people, but at the same time, the value of dollar went down. So it's basically, it was kind of like a tax to everyone. So if you were rich, let's say if you had $10 billion in your bank account, probably you lost maybe $400 million of value. Or let's say if you have $1,000 in your bank account, maybe you lost $40. So printing money seems to be a tax to the rich people. To everyone, but it affects rich people much more in terms of their magnitude. Maybe I'm not right, but it's just my personal ideas. But again, sometimes it's necessary. I think in the COVID time, it was necessary. It was a panic in the economy. They have to print money. Some cases, they have the governments around the world, they have bad policies. The easiest way to support their bad policies is just printing money. Also, in this figure, I put the historical interest rate in the US. It seems in the 1980s, it was around 50%. I think this year is about 2.5%. I'm not sure about this year, but there are different years. It changes from 2% to like up to like 15%. So let's say you want to do an investment next 5 years. Maybe you can have an idea about the interest rate, inflation rate. Sometimes it's not predictable, but sometimes it is. And so you can also look at your historical investment. For example, what could you do in the last 5 years that could make you richer now? Maybe if you bought some Bitcoin, if you bought Netflix share, or if you bought, or if you just kept your money in the bank, which one might be better? So in case of bankruptcy, some people invest money in cryptocurrency. Those cryptocurrency just lose all of its value, like almost all of its value, like ICP. Or some people buy some stock, which when those companies goes bankrupt, they lost their money too. So having said that, this is the title of your next assignment. So rank return investment of $1,000 in the following items from 2016 to 2021. So do some mathematical calculations. So you need to find inflation rate of United States each year. If you Google, you can easily find. You can find, general banking interest rate. And also, you can look at the Bitcoin price and GameStop price and also Ethereum. So just rank which one was better. So maybe if no investment, maybe if all of them lost value, maybe you could just put your money, your pillow, and you could even be much safer. So this is 5 different plans. Just rank them, or what was the best and worst idea investment that you could do in the last 5 years. Let's say, for example, let's talk about saving in a bank. So if I oversimplify it, let's say if the interest rate is 10% each year and inflation is 5%, 10 minus 5, 5. So you should calculate, just find so 2016, 7, 18, 19, 20, and 2021. 1 year, 2 year, 3, 4, 5 years. So let's say if inflation is 10% and bank interest rate is 5% each year. So each year you lose minus 5%. So the calculation of the value of $1,000 in the 2021 would be $1,000 times 1 minus 0.05 raised to the power of 5. Or you can find some economic formula, but I'm just providing the oversimplified formula. So it doesn't need to be 5%, maybe 1 year could be 1%, 2%, minus 3, minus 4. Some year could be positive. So you need to adjust this calculation based on what you find when you Google. For GameStop, it's very easy. So you can find the value in the 2016 and 2017. You just subtract them from each other. So for buying under your pillow, maybe just look at like inflation. How much you lose if you just put the euro. So do a little bit of calculations. So this is not engineering economy course. So I just want to see you do some calculations, some at least good looking calculations. A question about the assignment? So this is a famous figure of money characteristics or financial value characteristics. For example, if it's widely accessible, if it's digital, central bank issue peer-to-peer. For example, cryptocurrency, which is permissionless, DLT, digital legal tender. So if you put in the middle, it's widely accessible, it's digitalized, peer-to-peer, but it's not central bank issue. So, or bank deposit, they're very acceptable. They're digital, but they are not issued by the central bank. It's from commercial bank. So. So also permissionless. So there is some cryptocurrencies that the company control everything. And let's say all the miners are belonging to a company and you cannot join, like Ripple. So versus like Bitcoin that everybody could join. So Ripple is a permissioned legal tender or cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, Ethereum are permissionless. Everybody could join without permission of a central authority. So let's talk about cryptocurrency investment. So who invested in cryptocurrency in the class? At least bought something. You? No, you guys. Okay, so there is some basic strategies like you are looking at long-term return, short-term return. Somebody just joined for curiosity. Some people just wandering around. They just look at news and some people say buy, sell. And some people just look for fast or cheap international trades. So in case of stable coins. So there is some stable cryptocurrency, they're always $1. But some people use it because they can do international transactions faster and cheaper. I think if you send some money from US to El Salvador, maybe it takes a couple of days to finalize the transaction, which is with cryptocurrency. Like they can do it in a matter of seconds or minutes. So much faster and cheaper. But again, you should know what you want to do. So are you a long-term investor or short-term investor? So if you are, usually people who are just wandering around, they lose a lot of money. They don't know what they do. People who join for curiosity, that's okay. They just want to enjoy. But I think long-term, short-term investors should know which one they are. Are they want to invest for a long term and don't pay attention to fluctuations, or they just short-term investors and they just want to day-to-day trade? So these are two different things. For the long-term investment, it's very hard to rely on promises because as you might talked 2 sessions ago, some of the new projects, they don't have a blockchain. They just promise something for future. So how could you trust them? Some of them were like Ethereum. They actually did the promise and they had a really good blockchain cryptocurrency. But there's so many good examples of people who lied. Sometimes you need technical knowledge. Some of them publish their white papers, but it needs a very good computer science and like cryptocurrency knowledge of looking at the codes and functions and see if do you think it's a good one or not. Or even they could have a very good blockchain and many financial institutions could back them up, but they might lose in competition. There's so many good cryptocurrency who could win. Also, marketing matters. So Shiba is an example of very weak cryptocurrency with no future, and at least when they created it. But since they had a very good marketing, it makes some people millionaires because so many people join to this cryptocurrency and just raising the value crazy, I think. And therefore it's very hard to predict. Usually for the long-term investment, people look at the news and other people's idea, but nobody it's very hard to predict future in such a volatile market. So just keep in mind, and But sometimes when you join early phases of a cryptocurrency project, it could make you millions or billionaires. So I think I talked about Vitalik. So he's a billionaire. When he was like 19, 20 years old, he got billions because he had so many Ethereums. So the other one, which is also difficult, is like short-term investor. Usually they do day trading. And in those day trades, so many factors could affect their cryptocurrency market. Sometimes it tweak, but again, those factors sometimes are easy to predict and investigate. Sometimes it's very hard. So the people who does day trading, they are either do it based on their years of experiences or very good machine learning based trading. So they have very good knowledge of machine learning and coding, so they can have very good models that could predict if the price of cryptocurrency would go up or down. So people who do based on experience, some of them will make good money. I have a friend who has a PhD from I think University of New Hampshire. So he left his PhD. After graduation, he didn't do anything about his degree. Now he's just do day trading. So he spent like 10 years of experience in trading. He's not someone who jumped into trading and without experiences. So I know some people make good money, but it needs years of experiences. And he went through so many trading classes and he had his own experiences. Machine learning based trading needs good machine learning and programming knowledge, which I think with your degree, maybe you could put your effort in the second one, which is trading based on machine learning algorithms. Because what does those machine learning algorithms do? Then it's like something is somewhat very similar to experience-based trading. So basically, you input maybe 3 years of cryptocurrency price fluctuations. Those models go through those fluctuation data and they learn from the fluctuations. And based on what they learn, they can predict what could happen tomorrow. So instead of you doing the experiences, the algorithm does the experiences. So I don't go to the experience-based trading because it's out of context for us. So it really needs years of experience. But for machine learning-based trading, the first one is data gathering. So you can look at what other people did, especially if you do with a scholar. There's so many papers for day trading, short-term trading, machine learning-based trading. And you can see the first step is usually data gathering. So on top of cryptocurrency, maybe they look at the stock market, oil price, Twitter data, gold price, silver, even exchange rates. And they just gather as much of data that they can. Second step, which is the most difficult one, is data preparation. Because the data that these are the real data. It's not like what you learn in a Python class in the Clark University, other universities. So the stream of data comes because I think, cryptocurrency data creates every second. Maybe you need to do some abstraction, summarization based on minutes, hour, or daily. So you need to learn how to work with a stream of data, how to basically clean those data, make them ready, and maybe somebody you need to synthesize the data. So there is some trading indicators like RSI. Have you guys ever heard of RSI? Or moving average, have you heard about that? So moving average means you look at, for example, let's moving average of 5. It just means you look at last 5 hours of price. sum them up and divide it by 5. So you synthesize the new variable, it's your moving average. So on top of moving average, which is the easiest one, there's so many other indicators. Maybe some of them look at the changes in the price, look at the slope of the change. So anyway, so you need to get the data and make them do the preparation. So the first part, no worries, you don't do anything manually. So there's so many Python R packages that help you to fetch the data, to get the data. Data preparation, you have the big data management course and also some Python courses in the Clark. So you would learn how to make the data, prepare and get them ready for machine learning step. So let's say right now you got the data of last 3 years. You prepared them for the models. Now you let the models to go through last 3 years and learn from the fluctuation. Then you look at their performance last, let's say 3 years, to see how reliable is your model. So if you run your machine learning algorithm the last 3 years and your accuracy of prediction is 95% or 96%. So you can say, okay, it seems I can trust it for future because in the last 3 years, it was 96% accuracy. For the next day, my mother would say the price would go up. So I buy today and sell it tomorrow. Or maybe tomorrow, my mother would say the price would go down. So I sell everything today and wait for tomorrow. The last part is learning how to make APIs for the exchange companies. So let's say your model would tell you that in 3 a.m. next day, the price would go down so bad, and 5 a.m. it would go up in a crazy fashion. So you don't want to sit next to your laptop and just look at the performance of the model and decide what could you do. What you do, you make an API, which there's so many. If you work with the exchange companies, Binance, Coinbase, all of them have APIs. So you can connect your models to those APIs. So those, then therefore you can run your models 24/7. So they decide when they should buy and sell. So what can you do? Every day or every you look at your performance, we try to have a better model. So as a summary, even if you just know Python and R is enough, so you need to use some packages to fetch the data. You need to learn how to do data preparation. You need to learn how to train models for prediction. And finally, you need to read some documentation of APIs, how to connect your models to an exchange company. I did actually all of these steps. So I'm a guy who did all of them. I exactly know what is going on here. So it's my own experience. I didn't copy from any people. I did all of the steps by myself. Having said that, in my point of view, the fanciest part is prediction, but frankly, the most difficult part is data preparation. There is some packages that help you to do data gathering. So you run it like one line of Python code, they get the like oil price or UN to dollar exchange rate, or let's say Bitcoin price, Ethereum price, any price. So you do data preparation. There's so many good packages for prediction. And maybe you need to spend 1 or 2 days to learn how to connect your model to exchange companies' API. If you do all of these steps, you can run your model 24/7. So if you are going to take more courses, either online or from Clark University, I certainly recommend to improve your Python program, especially how to do modeling and data preparation. API for exchanges, because exchange company makes money from your trades. Usually they provide all the codes that you want for API. Even there's good videos how to connect your model to APIs. So the last one is usually the easiest part. Then prediction, then data gathering, and the most difficult is data. How to prepare, how make your data ready for prediction. Questions? So I have a paper actually for day trading or short-term trading. So look at the first part. I got the data from the stock market, gold, oil market, cryptocurrency market, exchange rates, Dow Jones Index, Wikipedia page counts. So each of these data sources give you 5 or 6 variables. For example, for let's say oil market, I got the total volume, low price, high price, RSI, moving averages. So for each data sources, maybe I could have 10 to 15 variables. When I did the data preparation, I ended up having 194 variables. So just keep in mind, if you want to do experience-based trading, you need to manage 194 variables in your brain. It's really hard, but algorithms can handle them. So it's the reason I'm a fan of machine learning-based trading, because there's too many variables could affect your decisions, and it's very hard for human to process them. But if you can process them, like my friend, maybe you drop your PhD and you just do day trading every day. So he wakes up, I think, 6 a.m. every day, and he finishes work at 11 a.m. and that's it. He does trading in the stock market and cryptocurrency. But I put some formula for driving variables, for example, simple moving average, exponential moving average, RSI, and movement. And there's so many other formulas, but these formulas help me to drive 194 variables that could affect trading. So these are 4 pillars of short-term trading: data gathering, data management, which I just summarized as data preparation, machine learning, and coding. So in my point of view, if you never worked with the Python, just take 2 courses in machine learning and coding. With these good fundamentals, you can start to develop these steps. Especially first 3 steps, that should be your own work. The last step, usually they give you all the codes. Questions for this part of the session? Who wants to do trading? So do you want to do experience-based trading or machine learning-based? I don't say which one is better. It's my point of view. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Machine learning-based trading. Also, just keep in mind, sorry, I interrupted you. So I'm not sure about your residence status in the United States. Just check the legal issues with the international office. But I'm not sure about your status, but just saying that sometimes there's some limitation, which I'm not aware of that. Sorry, just continue that. So why you love machine learning based trading? Yeah, you have experience. You are a master's student. You already spent like 4 years in undergrad, so that's experience. But not like, you haven't been in the market, but you have some other experience. So what about you, Marazin? Which kind of training you like?
Day trading essentially, or actually when the trading and what I also did was long-term programs and currency, I would do a lot of stock trading. Some experience in that field.
So you're more towards long-term investment.
Yeah, I've switched from short-term to long-term because I realized I'm not a bit of experience with trading. So I thought the smart thing to do is to like longer term mindset.
I see.
But I would choose machine learning.
I mean, long-term trading, some people you could be a billionaire. I don't say, but sometimes it's really hard to predict what could happen in future, especially right now there's a lot of competitions and marketing. But I mean, so it made some people billionaires, frankly. So any other people who either have interest in trading or investment? Nobody else. That's fine. Okay, so what time is it right now? Okay, let's have a 20 minutes break. So then we go to the next part of the class. You pause the recording. So guys, in the second part of the class, I want to first look at your installation to see if you was able to install Solana on your platform. I'm sorry, I posted a little bit late, but I mean, the installation shouldn't take too much time. So first file, so for installing for a Linux, for a Windows user, and also I have another one for Mac. So is there anyone who needs help, or could you be able to install? Have you run test validator? Okay, good. So do you guys be able to install Solana? Okay. If there's no issues, I can go to the next part, but I just want to be sure everyone could be able to have Solana on their laptop. Have issues? Okay, let me check your laptop. Yeah, hopefully by, I think, less than 5 or 10 minutes, most of you could be able to have Solana ready. So I think your friends try to finalize the installation. So let me just you can go through what we had in the first class. So in one of the first sessions, we talked about smart contract, which just means you have some if statement or some function on your blockchain. First in the Bitcoin, you just have transaction, for example, who send money to whom. But in a smart contract, including Solana and Ethereum, we also have some commands. So in Ethereum, the smart contracts save some information, but it's not the case with Solana. Solana retrieves data from accounts. But it's confusing for now. But so in the previous class, we talked about airdropping, and we airdrop some Solana to one account. Also, in the last online class, just sent the videos. We tried for the Mac users, they just use their Mac. For the Windows users, we try to have Linux over the Windows laptops because Solana is developed in the Linux-based environment, which is similar to Mac. But for Windows, we have to have Linux over Windows. So we look over the commands, and you guys basically install Mac, then install for Mac too. So we also learn how to create a phantom balance. And today we learned how to send some money to a phantom balance. And we are working with the DevNet, which is a development environment. You can do everything that development network for free, but the actual Solana network you should pay for that. So for example, if you look at the last video that I showed for NFT, sending Solana to my wallet and also minting NFT is very cheap, but it costs some Solana. But in DevNet, it's free. So again, if you're a Windows user, in the Windows, basically use Linux engine, but we access that through Windows operating system. So let's a little bit talk about Solana. Solana blockchain is developed with Rust programming language. So it's one of the things I'm a fan of Solana. Rust is a general programming language like Python or versus in Ethereum, the programming language Solidity, which is just for Ethereum. So with Rust, it helps Solana to get connected to other applications much easier. We test our Solana program through Java with JavaScript using Mocha. So is the reason you install Java and Mocha on your system. So I will talk about that programs are basically a piece of code on the blockchain and you should pay some money, which in like a DevNet is free. So Solana programs are stateless, they don't save information. Instead, they retrieve information from accounts. So it's some jargon that you would fix. So for today, first we try to make some wallet, send money to a phantom wallet. We also need cryptocurrency. We do everything through development network. Let's just wait 5 more minutes so your friends could catch up. And after that, please, from your model, open Solana basic commands. If you go to week part 11, class materials, you can find Solana basic commands.txt. So while you're trying the installation based on your operating system and your PC, if you don't face some error, this first with error, something that is over, it's really that sounds going on. Other than that, it's beginning. So macOS and Windows and Ubuntu are very common operating systems. They have good communities. Usually, by just simple Google, you can find your issues easily. So for the people over Zoom, so there isn't sometimes you don't see and hear me because I just go to your friend's laptop and resolve the issues. So again, for the coding parts, it's better to be in the class because I can easily look at your laptops and help for resolving your issues. So if you finish the installation, please open Solana basic commands. I put in the part 11 of your Moodle. So in this experiment, we make wallet, we make token, we sell token to a phantom wallet. Also, please be sure to have a phantom wallet on your internet browser. So for example, here, I have a phantom wallet on my Chrome browser. If you use Chrome, Firefox, Safari, each of them has their own wallet. So in the DevNet, I have a made-up token. I send it to myself. And if I go to mainnet, I think I just have maybe 2 souls. Change network to mainnet. 0. That's interesting. It just loaded up. I must have 2 souls. If you don't have Phantom wallet, please just Google. I think that's not sure you have to install it, but probably all of you should have a Phantom wallet. So for doing development in Solana, we use DevNet, not mainnet. So on the lower right, there's a setting button. Just click on it. Go to change network and change it to DevNet. Again, settings, change network, and then select DevNet. Okay, so all the comments are here. Please open your command prompt or Ubuntu if you are a Windows user. First, I'm going to create a wallet. So wallet, nothing but a public key. So copy and paste this line, Solana keygen new. Since I already have a wallet, it might give me an error. So it just said it cannot overwrite. With the next command, Solana keygen new -- force, I can overwrite and have new wallet. Then enter. So this is my public key. I can retrieve it with another command. If I type Solana address, I can get my public key here too. I can check my balance. So with this command, Solana balance, URL devnet. I can see how much balance I have. Copy. 0. So I can drop Solana into my wallet, which its address is just the public key. So I put the comment here, but look in the middle, I have another wallet address because it was my previous wallet address. So you can copy this line, but change this to your wallet address. So copy here. I delete this part, which is the wallet address, and paste the new wallet address that I just created. Then I can check if its transaction went through the Solana blockchain. So I copy this one. I go to the site. I go to explorer-solana.com. Copy. I change mainnet to the devnet and just paste my Solana address. Sorry, Solana public key. So as you see, my balance now is $1. Sorry, 1 SOL, because I airdropped 1 SOL through here. So the reason my balance is 1. I just wait a couple of minutes for you guys to catch up. So you can create your public key. You can airdrop 1 SOL into your public key. And through explorer.solana.com, you can check your balance. Okay, let me update my public key address here. So instead of this one, I just paste the new one. So in Solana, we have 2 other jargons: token creation and minting token. When we say we want to create a token, it just means we want to create a structure of token. When we say we are minting a token, it just means we make copies of that token. So in the next command, I want to create a Solana token. Again, token here just means the structure of token. The command is SPL token create token URL devnet. Copy. I pasted in my command prompt. Now I just created a token. Also, it gives me address of the token. So this is token address. I copy it and paste it in here. the token address that you see here is the old one that I overwrite it. So I paste it here. Then I need to make an account for my token. So in this line, this SPL token create account, I change my token address with this one because the one that you see here is the old address. I paste a new one, then I copy it and paste it in my comments prompt. Okay, now after creating a token and account, I can save the information. So the data that you see here is the token account. So I can select and copy it. Okay, so I change this one to my token account. So I created an account. I've make an account for that. I created token and I created account for that. Let's check my Solana balance. It's Solana balance -- URL definite. I can see my balance here. Let me just copy. So look at my balance. Why my balance is not 1, it's 0.996 something. I lost some balance here, right? It used to be 1 sold. Although working definitely is free, but it's a simulation of actual Solana network. So when I create token and create an account, it costs me some sold. So it's the reason my balance instead of 1 is 0.996. Let me just wait a couple of minutes for you guys to catch up. Again, if you copy and paste from my commands, you might get some errors because here I have my wallet address, token address, and token account. So you have to update these commands. You cannot just directly copy and paste. The only part that you need to update is like large string of characters. So next, I want to check the balance of token in my account. So I haven't minted anything, so it shouldn't be any balance. So instead of this address, I put my token address, which I have it here. I copy from here and paste this one. Okay, my token address is wrong. So Yeah, the token balance is 0 because I just created a token account. I haven't minted it, so it's the reason the balance is 0. The next is I mint new tokens. So I need to update this address with my token address. So let me just delete and paste my token address. So look at the comment, SPL token mint 2000 tokens in this address. I just minted 2000 tokens. Now I can check my supply. Again, I have to update this address with my token address. So I delete the previous address. Paste new one. Oh no. Paste new one. $2,000 is minted, and also supply should be same. Any questions so far? Do you guys have ever how to create a wallet, tokens, minting? So let's mint more tokens. So the only thing you still need to update the token address from the previous one. I mint new 5,000 tokens. And now, with updating the next comment, I can look at the total supply my tokens. 7,000 tokens. So I minted 2,000 one time, 5,000 another time. The total supply is 7,000. I paused a little bit here and there for you, your friends in the class to catch up. So similar to an economy, which I said, if you print more dollar, the dollar loses its value. So if you print over here, you call it mint. If you mint token in your blockchain, it just loses its value. Sometimes there are limited number of tokens in some cryptocurrency projects. So here with this comment, you can disable minting in your minting of your tokens. So look at the next comment. I'm saying that SPL token authorized, token address mint disable. So with this command, you cannot print any more tokens. It's just disable printing. So let me update with the right token address. Now I want to mint again. So let's see what happens if I mint new tokens. SPL mint. Now it gives me an error because I disabled minting of new tokens in this cryptocurrency project. Have you guys ever heard of burning tokens in a cryptocurrency project? Sometimes we burn something, we burn. So I think previously we talked about cash in circulation and printing money. Sometimes some tokens lose too much of its value. So the people who manage the token, they burn some of the supply and take them out of circulation forever. They call it burn. It just means you just delete some tokens from circulation because you hope that you increase the value of the token. So this is the next comment. So SQL token burn. Here I should put token account, not token address. I think I saved my token account somewhere here. Token address from token account. Yes, this is my token account. I put it here. Now I want to burn 300 tokens and put them out of circulation. So we minted 2,000, then we minted 5,000, then we burned 300. So total supply of that token should be 2,000 plus 5,000 minus 300, 6,700. So let's see. Let me update the next command with the new token address and look at the balance. So as you see, 300 is burned. The next comment, you can get the public or public key, but let me just skip this one. But how to send a token from blockchain to a wallet? So if you open your Phantom, I can put my address. So as you see, I'm if I go to settings, change the network, I'm on the DevNet. Look at the top of my Phantom wallet. There's a @gv4 something. This is the address, my wallet address. If I click on it, I copy the address. I can use this address for sending the token that I just created to my wallet. So look at its command. SVL transfer token address, amount, wallet address. So the one that I just copied from Phantom wallet is this last argument, which is wallet address. Also have the token address of the token that I just created, so I can complete this command. I copied this one in my command prompt. Oh no, I have to change everything. So first, I need to copy my wallet address. Let me copy again. So click on here. Then I have to update my token address because these are old codes. This is the token address that I just created. So instead of 115, let's say just change it 100, 500, 1,500 or 1,500. So I'm sending 1,500 tokens of this address to my Phantom wallet. So I think the token address is wrong. So let me just see what's wrong with that. Invalid token address. Still token transfer. Maybe I copy and paste wrong. I think, my God. Do I have enough balance? For some reason, it just gives me some network errors, so which I didn't expect. So let me see if this one works. Okay, this one is working. So let me. Oh, I got there. There's a typo in the address. Okay, I sent 15. Let me send more. Yeah, this 7 is extra here. I'm not sure why I put this typo. So now I go to Phantom Wallet. So it said there is an unknown token. I already sent some token to this wallet, 165. So I can, and look at how transaction was fast. I just click on my command prompt and it just reflected a Phantom Wallet. So I can change it, edit the token metadata. For example, let's say for name, class token, symbol C token. Okay, in 2 steps, I send 165 C token, which is just a made-up name, to a Phantom Wallet. So you see how to communicate with your own command prompt on your laptop to a well-designed, operational blockchain, which is over internet. Again, in this command prompt, you need to update something. Like, for example, you need to update this token address because when you run on your system, you have a new token address. You would have new token account. Also, your wallet address would be something different. So these addresses might differ from you, but at least you learn some concept like creating token, minting token, burning token, and how to send your created token from your account, from your computer to the blockchain. So this is like a free development network, but it's a real Solana for development. When your application is good, you can put it onto mainnet. So you go to settings and you change to the mainnet. If you look at the video over the mainnet, I created my NFT and I minted my NFT on a NFT marketplace. Questions? So please do 2 things. When you go home, if you haven't finalized installation of Solana, install it, because in next classes, I show you more advanced applications. These are very basic ones. So you should have Solana ready. On top of that, practice this Solana basic commands. Again, the only thing you need to know, you need to update the wallet address, token address, and token account. And learn, you can watch the videos again, so you can learn how to send token or money to your wallet and check your balances here. Questions? I think it's enough for today. We have a little bit of time, but I think too much. So let's say goodbye for today. In the next classes, we have more coding experiments. Please also don't forget to install Visual Studio Code. So before finishing today, so if you have installed Visual Studio Code on your Windows system, when you're inside Ubuntu, you type code space dot. Look at my command prompt. If you enter it, Visual Studio Code would open for you. Just check if Visual Studio Code is installed on your system. And for Mac users, it's easier. You just need to install. You don't have to do this. It's just for Windows users. So Windows users, if you install Visual Studio Code successfully, when you type code space dot in your command prompt, Visual Studio Code would pop up. Okay, that's for today. Thank you very much and take care.